Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today our session is regarding language development in preschool. When we talk about a language development, usually we refer to second language development in our preschools, because first language is usually developed there at home, that from mother, from family members, from surroundings, the child learns first language, and that is also in certain steps. For example, the child at first learns what nouns, naming words. Later on, when the child grows, he starts adding action words along with. So in first language, the process or natural process is there in form of what? Number one, vocabulary of words, vocabulary of nouns, then vocabulary of action words, then finally joining both and making sentences. Why am I talking about this first language? Because it has certain connection with second language as well. But unfortunately, there occurred certain problems in preschools, or I must say that in teaching methodology, or what should I call it, that second language is considered to be something totally different thing. Okay, just like first language, second language is also there, can be developed moving on the same pattern as first language is there. As I told you that vocabulary of nouns adding with vocabulary of verbs and making finally sentences. So here the same process would be there, with certain deliberate efforts, because at home the child gets the environment. At home different situations are there, readily available to him, but at preschool all those situations, all those happenings, occurrings can't be there readily available all the time. So we have to develop that environment. We have to go for certain deliberate efforts to develop, to work upon what is second language. Because usually in schools, in preschools, talking about our country, Pakistan, Urdu language is there, local languages are also there. So how to work upon that second language, we'll discuss in detail today. Before moving towards different phases of that language development, certain things connected to, adhere to language development, which are usually ignored. That through language, we just consider that language is just for the sake of communication only. I'm emphatically using this word only. No, it's not so. Language is not only language. Language is also a source of cultural development, the development of culture. It is also the development of thinking. Language has certain impact on child's mind in multiple ways. There could be dozens, but at the moment we are specifically talking about these two, that how to develop the culture and how to develop the thinking of that child through language. Because whatever sort of language is there being developed, being used, it is there with certain impact, knowingly or unknowingly, on the brain of child. As we named this program of workshops, whatever sessions we conduct, we named it with what? Train the brain. Why do we call it train the brain? Because the basic purpose of schooling or formal education is training. It's not just transferring certain information. It's not just the role of a facilitator, no. The role of facilitator is there, but with certain other requirements as well. When we talk about train the brain, each and every segment there in preschool specifically, where we call it a sensitive time period till 6 years. We had been talking about it in previous sessions of Montessori previously. So when we are calling it sensitive time period, obviously the requirements are also sensitive. The catering is also sensitive. It also needs certain extraordinary attention. It is there with certain extra care. So when we talk about language development, it's not just language development. It is also the development of culture. That means a mindset, behavioral development, the development of certain aptitude, development of certain attitude, certain norms, not written on walls, not written in books, but practically inculcated in the personality of that child. The sort of language the child receives, the type of culture he develops. For example, usually this example is given that when the child is receiving two sort of language, he will develop two culture. And when the child is receiving AAP, he will obviously develop what sort of culture? AAP culture. Apparently, it's not a big deal. It's not a problem for me. I can ignore aap or tu or tum if it is up till language. But if it's a matter of actions, reactions, behaviors, mutual understanding, sociability, mutual cooperation, which are the key requirements of preschooling, then it can't be ignored. I'm repeating, if aap, tu, tum culture is still language, up till language, I have no problem with that. It could be the matter of frankness, and I do favor that frankness. I do favor that friendly relationship where you can shift from aap to tum or tum to tu. But when it's a matter of mutual cooperation, mutual respect, mutual understanding, bothering the rights of others, giving room to others, acceptance for others, adjustability for others, sociability for others, respecting the opinion of others, then I need extra care. So we are talking about cultural development here in that context, in the context of SQ, social quotient. Specifically, along with that EQ, emotional quotient as well. As in the previous sessions, we had been talking about it. We went for a detailed discussion on that, the definition of a whole child, where we talk about, we refer to all those 4 Qs, where we talk about IQ, SQ, EQ, AQ. Okay? In that, language is there, or the usage of language is there with a very important role. Specifically, the sort of language the child receives in form of oral communication. In preschool, different situations are there. If I'm just clinging to the knowledge of letters, if I'm just adhering to the knowledge of phones or phonemes and ignoring the importance of oral language being used within the premises of preschool, it would impede my real tasks, my real achievements, which is what? Cultural development. So the content, when being planned, must be well thought. Environment, when being designed, must be well considered. Rhymes being used, for example, must be in accordance with the objective planned. Consequently, resulting in certain cultural development. Are you getting my point, Ji? That usually it happens that when we are working on environment, Ji, when we are working on what, Ji? Different activities there. During those activities, what sort of language will be used? When we are working with certain rhymes there, Ji. I'm emphatically repeating rhymes because rhymes are there with their very significant role there. Ji. Well thought, well chosen, and well performed. I'm using this word well performed. I'm not saying well played. Usually it is observed that environment just developed there, Ji, with abundance of material there. No. That environment must have, Ji, certain material regarding cultural development. Rhymes must have certain material regarding cultural development, Ji. And what is this culture development, Ji? As I said earlier, that it's a mindset. And what is that mindset, Ji? We need not to go for those complex definitions of mindset, Ji. Positive mindset. Broad mindset. The mindset with acceptance for others. The mindset with cooperation with others. The mindset with sociability, adjustability. It could be there, Ji. So how can we go for it, Ji? For example, when we talk about environment, Ji, when we go for pasting certain things, Ji, on your softboards, on your walls of preschool, care must be taken there, Ji, regarding the choice of materials, specifically value education. Regarding what? Value education, Ji. We can integrate value education with language development. Are you all getting my point, Ji? When we say language development, we just consider that, Ji, it's just ABC or Alif Ba Pa or whatever language is there. Though regarding the identification or the formation or regarding the writing material, the child is going from junior Montessori, from the age of 3, obviously is going for that, the letters ABC. But along with that, when we talk about oral development, Ji, when we talk about the received content, Ji, by the teacher, by surroundings, can be other than ABC. It could be there in form of different sentences. It could be there in form of what ji? Sentences regarding value education ji. We can also use EPLG, exercises for practical life, for this purpose too. Are you getting my point, ji? I'm talking about integration of all these, ji. I'm integrating what? EPL and value education with what? Language development. Though the child is learning to write A, but along with that he is also listening what? Certain sentence regarding grace and courtesy, thank you, when to use thank you, when to say sorry, when to say yes please, when to say no thank you, how to accept an offer by saying yes please, how to reject an offer by saying no thank you. Got my point? When we are going for all those small statements, clear, those statements are serving both your value education, clear, along with that what she? Language development. On one hand, language is being developed in form of sentence structures. On the other hand, culture is being developed chi, in form of grace and courtesy statements. Am I getting clear, ji? Is it conveyed? Have you all got it, ji? That usually this misconception that language only means ABC. No. Clear? It could be there in any other form. Ji. The sentences being used by the teacher, ji. Within premises, during lunch time, during play time, while receiving the child early in morning, during pack up time, while talking about the difference between good touch and bad touch, where you are actually transferring certain idea of child abuse, where you are in an effort to save that child from child abuse, in form of what? Safety, the knowledge of safety. Or you are going for certain activity regarding value education, ji. Which is regarding norms, regarding grace, regarding courtesies, regarding manners, regarding etiquettes. So mean to say that while planning, when we plan, as we learnt in previous sessions, ji, that how to plan for a whole week. When I am planning weekly activities, certain activities must be the part of my plan. Keeping in mind that these activities are for both development of language and development of culture. Am I clear up till here, ji? Have you got the mechanism, ji? How will you add that? Once again, I am simplifying it, ji. That when you are going to plan for a week, in that week, for example, you are dealing with one letter or two letters, A and B. Clear? Along with that, you are also planning what the value of the week. Clear? Along with that, you are going for what EPL, exercises for practical life. Clear? 4 groups are there, ji. Care of person, care of environment. Am I clear? Grace and courtesy. And what is the 4th one? preliminary group. Clear? Whether you are selecting something from preliminary group, or care of person, or care of environment, or grace and courtesy. Clear? You just being aware about it, that you will also use it for both language development and cultural development. Am I clear? So when you yourself are clear that your statements are serving both, clear, the words you are using, those words must be there, clear, in that specific language which you want to develop. Clear? For example, if you want to develop English, those statements will be there in what? English language. If you want to develop what? Arabic, those statements will be there in what? Arabic language. Are you getting my point? Or Urdu, whatever you want to develop. Clear? I'm not specifying it with what? Just English. Somewhere it could be there L2 in form of what? Arabic. Somewhere it could be there L2 Chinese. Somewhere L2 Urdu. Clear? For example, where native speakers are there using English as first language. Clear? And I am working there on Urdu as a second language. So I'll plan all those activities in which language? Urdu language. So I'm serving both the purposes. On one hand, language development. Clear? When I'm using certain statements, so indirectly they are developing certain structures of language in their mind. Got my point? And on the other hand, I am also developing the culture. And what is that culture? I told you that mindset. Clear? Mindset of that child. And repeatedly I am saying that what is that mindset? Positive mindset. What is that mindset? Sociable mindset. Clear? The mindset with cooperation. The mindset with space for others. The mindset with acceptance for others. The mindset with respect for the opinions of others, the mindset with patience, the mindset with kindness. Am I clear, ji? Secondly, ji, talking about development of thinking, ji. As I said that language development is not just language development. It is development of culture, we have discussed. Now moving towards what? Development of thinking. As we discussed in very much detail in the previous session, where we talked about that how to create a teachable moment in that 5E model of instructions. You can, those who are watching on YouTube, can consult that video from there. That teaching methodology based upon what? 5E model of instructions. There we discussed in very much detail that how to create that teachable moment. One is that I am teaching certain specific content. Clear? I am focusing on that content. I'm actually limiting the children in that specific boundary. Clear? But on the other hand, the modern world says that, clear, the child must be given with certain liberty of going out of the box. Clear? The child must be given there, clear, with a certain ground to move on certain track in form of open-ended questions. Do mention it. How? As I always say that to understand something is not important. For example, that to understand that language develops culture also, it's not important. It is clear, but it's incomplete unless you add it with what? How mechanism of that. How will you do it? For culture development, I said that how will you develop it? Through value education, through APL, or through certain other activities, whatever you plan. Clear? Now here talking about that thinking. Clear? Number one, I said open-ended questions, open choices. Let the child make his own choices. Let the child think about it. Let the child, as according to Maria Montessori. The child must be given the privilege to make his own choices. Usually it happens that we plan certain activity and somehow we force children to do that activity or to participate in that activity as per our own mechanism given to him. Clear? As per our own strategy given to him, or the way we tell the child to do it. Sometimes let the child derive his own way to do the things. For example, if I want to move from right and the child considers that it is better to move from the left, so let him do it. If I think that red would be the suitable color for that specific activity and the child chooses to go for what? Blue color, let the child use the blue. If I think that my way of doing that activity is right, be ready for a question, Ji. If I think that my way of doing that activity is right and the way child is selecting is wrong, what should I do? As I said that, suppose I want to go from right and the child is going from left. What would happen? What should I do first? And if I don't stop that child adopting that wrong way, what would happen? Anybody? Are you all getting my question? Sorry? He will do that thing always wrong. Okay? That is a very important point, Ji. He is doing wrong. She said that, I may repeat for my viewers, that usually people say that whatever your comments are there, they can't listen to that. So I may repeat your statement. She said that if the child is selecting the wrong way and I'm not stopping him, I'm letting him do that, he will always do it wrong. You are saying what, Chi? Sorry? She is of the view that we should appreciate the child. He is doing wrong. At first we should appreciate him. That appreciation on what? His effort. Very good. That at first she is of the view that we should appreciate that child. At least he dared to do it. On his dare. Clear? On his making choice, we should appreciate that. Well done. Wow, superb. At least you tried. Clear? But this is the right way. You're of this opinion? Okay, very good. Accept it. Anybody else?
It's not something as harmful as putting his finger in the socket. You should let him explore.
But I'm saying that his exploration is wrong. Sorry. Okay, stop it there. I got the answer. She is right. Clear, but I'm not going to announce it for the viewers. Clear? I may throw another question to you. If you could remember, we were talking about that language development for school, clear, textbook adaptation, that how to adapt text for language development. In that session, clear, or even here at Alpha Centauri schools, you teachers are sitting there. What do I say that? When a child is writing something wrong, clear, that don't correct the mistakes in the very beginning. Let him commit the mistakes. Why? Why did I say so? That's a check of your memory as well, that whether you can Remember that or not? I just explained it that day in very much detail. I'm very much, at first let me announce my opinion. That I am of the opinion that when children write on their own, for example, some topic writing, essay writing, clear, some story writing, when a child is writing on his own, in the beginning phase, when he is developing, when he is, make it clear that he is not professional writer, he is not learned, he is there in front of you in that classroom to learn. I am of the opinion that the mistakes must not be highlighted. Let the child write wrong. Why? Now you wanted to say something.
With the passage of time, we learn from these mistakes.
Okay, very good. I'll repeat your statements. You two both got it. Anybody else? A child is doing wrong, and I'm saying that don't correct those mistakes. Usually it happens, na? You people spare a specific portion on your notebook where mistakes are mentioned there for corrections. I strongly oppose it, that in the beginning phase it must not be done. In the learning phase it must not be done. Why? Ma'am. Usually it happens or not? That usually in schools, what happens? Let's suppose a child has written something, clear, suppose certain grammatical mistake is there, certain spelling mistake is there, clear, and teachers are directed to highlight that mistake, correct it, and ask a child to write it 3 times, 4 times, clear, to correct it. I'm against it. And I have my own opinions. I have my own experiences. As I told you that, I always go for what? Case studies. Got it? And I got my results. Ma'am, sorry. The child is doing wrong. Agreed, but wrong thinking is developed. That's what I'm saying, that he is thinking wrong. Ma'am. Wrong. She is right. She is of the view that the child must be given this opportunity to think freely. Clear? She is saying that by doing so, he is gaining interest. My point is that his way is what? Wrong. His thinking is what? Wrong. Idea is what? Wrong. Spellings wrong. Grammar wrong. Whatever. Make a list. I am of the opinion that we should not stop that child doing that wrong. You wanted to say something? Very good. Excellent. Now it means that you remembered that session. You two both. Well done. Chocolate for you both. Okay? I told you that time that when we actually block the child in the very beginning, the child gets hesitant. Clear? It causes fear. Clear? Do mention it. That it causes fear. And that leads to hesitation. How would you define hesitation? Hesitation is a fear. No? Fear of what? Committing mistake. At first, let the child commit mistake. 2 possibilities are there. As she said, very good. As she said that, consequently, finally, somewhere the child will get the right knowledge. So in this way, he is having two types of knowledge. One, I'm saying that consequently, clear, in that education is a process, it's not a matter of one day. Clear? That is not the last day. Much more is coming ahead. At the moment he is committing a mistake. Later on, someday, clear, he will find it that what is the right way. Am I clear? He'll gain the knowledge of right. And number two, he will also gain the knowledge that whatever he was doing, it was wrong. So he is having how many results? Two. The child who is always doing right as per directed by the teacher, so he is having what? One knowledge, the knowledge of right. Clear? The child who is committing a mistake and later on he is actually correcting himself in some way. Clear? He is having two parts of knowledge. Clear? Two sides of knowledge. The one right and the one which was wrong. For example, clear? If I throw a statement that orange is bitter. Orange is bitter. Clear? And I am also throwing a question that check it yourself, as we discussed that among the 10 principles of Montessori methodology. What was the principle? State, observation versus judgment. Clear? My observation, I am saying that the orange is bitter. I am also throwing a question to them that check it yourself. What do you think? What do you think that orange is, whether sweet or salty or bitter or sour? Got my point? Clear? I adopted what? Bitter. Later on I checked it. Clear? They also checked it and they came to conclusion that orange is what? Usually sour. So two knowledges are there. Number one, orange is sour, and number two, orange is not bitter. Orange is not bitter. Clear? For example, if I'm talking about shape, I'm just giving you examples. Clear? I'm leaving it on to the child, clear, to check that what shape is it. Clear? If for example, I'm just giving an example. Clear? If for example one child is declaring that it's a square, got my point? And later on he learns that it is what? Circle. So he is having two knowledges. Number one, it is a circle, and number two, it's not square. From here the inquiry begins. Write this statement. This is called teachable moment. According to researchers, educationists, the real inquiry begins when you are proven wrong. Why? How? How can I say that? I was of the opinion that the lid of this box is what? Square. Clear? Later on I came to know that this is not square, this is what? Circle, round. This is round. I am of the opinion that I gain one knowledge, what? This is round. And second knowledge, this is not square. How does it lead to inquiry? Anybody? Now generalize this. your respected school leaders, teachers. Now generalize this. We are trying to clarify the concept. As I told you that when you yourself are clear, activities planned will be with clarity. Otherwise, activity would remain just what? Activity, as we usually come to know that activity-based learning. That how to design an activity, that is very important. As I told you in the beginning, that what activity is there, why, what is the objective of that, how will it be, how will it be conducted. So in that mechanism also involves this inquiry. Anybody ji? The child declared that it is a square. Later on, he came to know the reality that it's not square, it is round, it is circle. He is having two parts of knowledge. Number one, it is square or round, and number two is it is square or circle or round, and number two, it is not square. I am saying that this leads to inquiry. How? Think about it. Generalize it. For example, you decided something in your life, that this, for example, option A is better for you. Later on, you came to know that A was not better for you, B was better for you. So B option is correct, A option is incorrect. That leads to inquiry. How? Very simple. The answer is very simple. Sorry? Louder, please. You're not audible. Sorry. When we? Very good. You are getting closer. Anybody else? Very good. When we start exploring that, what is square and what is circle? What is the difference between square and... I'm just giving you examples. Clear? Just keep it in your mind that you are dealing with a child of 3 years. Clear? It is the biggest inquiry for that child, that moment on the face of earth. Clear? Sometimes confusion leads to inquiry. Confusion leads to clarity. Clear? So let him be confused. Because you are there. Na? You will put that child into the process of inquiry. Either you will let him inquire about it, or he on himself will start investigating that why wasn't it square and why was it circle. Finally, he will reach to that conclusion someday, somewhat, somehow, that the shape having 4 sides and opposites are, all the sides are equal. All the sides are equal. Clear? Having no angle. That is what? Square. And the shape which is having no side and having no angle. Clear? It is what, chi? A circle. Got my point, chi? When now generalize it, chi. When you said you selected what, chi? Option A. And later on you came to know that option B was right and A was wrong. Clear? Sometime knowingly, sometime unknowingly, you start inquiring it that why was A wrong? And that inquiry leads to certain learning, certain stage of knowledge. That is called real knowledge. Clear? That is called deductive knowledge. That is called deduction. Am I clear? That develops what, chi? Do mention somewhere, ji. Analytical approach that child. Critical thinking of that child. And finally, higher order thinking, ji. when I'm just transferring certain fixed information, that this one is what she, round or circle, the child will never explore. And that leads to cramming, that leads to rot learning. I even call it that rot learning. The child gets used to it. Do mention the side effects as well. When you are always giving that child certain fixed information, and you are always making that child work according to your fixed directions, the child gets used to given material only. Consequently, relies upon somebody all the time, resulting in zero usage of his own mind. He will never use his own mind. Do we? Do we? Don't you think that whatever we are told, we blindly follow it? We always demand what? Notes. We always go to what? Teacher. The teacher, whatever teacher is telling us, we blindly accept it as a faith. I'm not saying knowledge, as a faith. We never explore about it. We never investigate whether whatever is being told, is it right or wrong. If it is right, why is it right? If other wrong possibilities are there, why are those possibilities called wrong? Take the example of science now. Whatever you had been proclaiming previously, modern science is rejecting certain theories or not? Or if not rejecting, evolving certain theories or not? So what would be called the process of evolution? The things evolve from inquiry. Clear? And that inquiry is mostly caused by confusion. That is caused by questions. When you raise a question and leave the answer on to that child, and you can apply it now where? Am I clear up here? That don't always give the exact way of doing everything to that child. Let him derive his own ways. Let him decide on his own. It will enlarge his mind. It will open his mind. It will develop his critical thinking, analytical thinking, and consequently higher order thinking. Now, where can you apply it? In what sort of activities? For example, concepts. For example, you are going for what? Bigger and smaller, heavier and lighter. What happens? Usually, we give the child exact knowledge of bigger and smaller, or big or small, or bigger or smaller, or the biggest or smallest. Let the child himself decide that which one is bigger and which one is smaller, and why. And why? As per his age. I'm not talking about those engineering technicalities. I'm talking about his general perceptions, his general tools, where we can say, for example, this seems bigger. and this seems smaller, because it seems that this is covering more area, and it seems that it is covering what? Less area. Am I measuring it? Am I using some tool to measure that which one is bigger and which one is smaller? No. I'm talking about what? General perception, that it seems that whatever is covering more area is what? Bigger, and whatever is covering less area is what? Smaller. Now apply it to that second idea, second example I told you, heavier and lighter. Can you apply the same rule there? Sometimes don't you think that the certain things cover more area are lighter, and certain things cover less area are heavier? This will once again cause what? Confusion, no? And that confusion will lead to what? Inquiry. We just need inquiry, make it clear. As we discussed in that basic session of Montessori, that we train the senses. We train the senses. We don't go for exact knowledge of that, because we are dealing in a preschool child. The life is not ending there. It's not a full stop there. As you said, that he will always do wrong. No. When you put that child in confusion, in inquiry, one day he will find some reason. In later period, clear? In higher classes, but at least you put that child in thinking process. Or I must say that in lighter note, that you put that child using his brain. Do we use our brains? Brand new. And we called it there what? We give the child what? A stimulus. This is a stimulus for what? Thinking. Are you connecting the dots? Where I said what? Language is also a source of what? Development of thinking. And we took a start from where? By raising questions. And finally, leaving the child in certain confusion, leading towards certain sense of inquiry. And you did what? What is your role here? That you are just playing a role of a stimulus. You are stirring the mind of a child. You are creating a ripple in the mind of that child, from where thinking starts. Up till now, we talked about just thinking. Now move ahead, positive thinking. At first, we talked about what? Thinking. It's a responsibility of a teacher, not only preschool. That's why I always say that that Montessori methodology is not just for preschool. Make it very clear. It is a confusion. Certain people think that that Montessori methodology can only be applied there or must be applied there in only preschool. No. Clear? It deals with what? A process of teaching and learning, a process of schooling, a process of knowledge, education. So here at first we talked about what? Thinking. Hello? Surprise? Have you brought something for me? Why? Sorry. I thought that he must be there something for me. First one is what? Thinking. And secondly, now positive thinking. Now once again link it with purely with language. Always bother your content selected. This is called integration. No? Whatever content, whatever story you are choosing for reader, it must involve some positive content. As we said, discussion, we will talk about certain activities in upcoming slides. That what are the different activities of language development. So keep this in your mind there. Clear that while conducting those activities, your content must be there. Clear, well considered, well planned. Now I am clear. Clear, when I am clear that I will also use language development for positive thinking development. So automatically my content will also be what? Positive. My stories, clear, my subject matter would be linked with what? Positive values. Would be linked with what? SQ. Development of SQ. Development of what? EQ. Development of what? Above all, AQ. Now, can you remember when we talked about sentence making in some previous session? Jumle banaiye, make sentences. Are you getting the point? So now from here onwards, you will never go for any such activity, for example, of sentence making without purpose. When you are clear in your mind, the vocabulary you are giving, clear, must be accomplishing the task of what? Development of positive thinking. So you can choose positive vocabulary there. No? Clear? You can use what? That sentence frame, as we said there, we'll discuss that sentence frame. And you can guide that child to go for what? Positives. For example, when I'm saying that about myself, about the right age in advanced Montessori, clear, in the age of 5 years, when the child is supposed to write small topics or develop small topics or at least talk on small topics, clear, in oral language, oral development. So those topics can be there with a positive touch now. Instead of talking about myself, can't I make it what? Positive things in myself. My strengths. My strengths. Don't you think that sometimes it seems absurd that everybody is talking about what? Myself. Why not to move a bit ahead of that? No? Myself was already there. My name is this. I am flan. Clear? Add something more into it. No? Because you know that language is also for what? Development of thinking. And specifically which thinking? Positive thinking. Clear? Write few statements. Write some positive things of your family members. When we talk about it, my family. Now turn it with what? Or add it, add into it. Add this value into it. As we are there with the motto. What is the motto of the Alpha Centauri? Linking values with utility of education. Language is just a utility. Clear? When you are adding this value of positive thinking with that language, then you can say that you are linking value with the utility of language in form of what? That positive things of my family. Here is another question for you people. Can I say that Negative things of my family. Can you give this topic to a child? Think about it. You got 2 minutes, you can discuss with each other. Okay, ji, when we talk about this negativity, ji, you people mostly oppose it, ji. Clear, she was of the view that the child will develop what? Negative mindset or negative behavior. No, ji, not at all. Now I am quoting your religion, ji. Your holy book, ji. What is that, ji? Sorry, not holy book, Hadith Pak. Momin ka aina hai. What does that mean? That you learn from the mistakes of others. Whatever negative others are doing, and it seems negative to you, you are calling it what? Negative. Automatically it will give you a thinking that this thing is bad. Knowingly, unknowingly, you will try to avoid it. Are you getting my point? Why is it said that many people in the world, clear, remained successful extraordinarily by learning from the mistakes of others? Why is it said that the easiest way to achieve success in life, that don't repeat the mistakes of others? Why is it said that? Usually it is said that there is no shortcut to success. But why is it said that there can be a shortcut to success by not repeating the mistakes of others? When the child is mentioning some negative things, for example, that somebody in his family, lies, knowingly, unknowingly, that child is there, na? And automatically, obviously, you are there, na? You are there to tell him that lie is a bad thing. Lie is a bad thing. So, in other words, you incarved on the mind. That's it, what inculcate. Now, everybody is talking about inculcating. What is that inculcating? By lecturing? Can you inculcate values? Can you inculcate something by lecturing, ji? No. Anything on the face of earth can only be inculcated, ji, through thinking. Make it clear. Unless the child himself thinks about it as per his level, no value can be inculcated. Ma'am, you negated that when you are saying that the child is actually pointing out certain negative things. Knowingly or unknowingly, clear, it is being encarved on his mind that he is calling it what? Negative. Got my point? So obviously he would try to avoid it now. That is called inculcation. That is your statement, now. What do you say? Whatever comes in notice, that comes in practice. When you are not bringing that thing in notice, how will it come in practice? That is our problem now. That we always want to talk about what ji shubh. Positive. Pretending to be the salt on earth, pretending to be all the angels. The child must also be given the idea that negativities are there. And he has to live with all those negativities by learning them. If he has not learned something which is negative, how will he avoid that? How will he safeguard himself from that? That is a problem now. That we just told the child that that when you are telling truth, you will be rewarded. And when you are telling a lie, you will be punished. Sawab and azab. No. We are supposed to give him the utility of that now. that when you are truthful, clear, you will get benefit out of it. You will get good results out of it. And when you are telling a lie and nobody is watching you, you will be at loss. You will lose something. The moment child gets this idea of the positivity or negativity of something, benefits or loss of something, that is the true inculcation of that value. So sometimes the child must be given. That remained our problem, that we always talked about what positivities. We always talked about what strengths. The moment we start talking about negativities, obviously we'll talk about the causes of those negativities. Obviously we'll talk about the reason that why are we calling that thing negative. Why do we call a lie negative? Anybody? Mamunaza? Why do we call a lie negative? Because it's a sin. Because it's a sin. Why do we call a sin a sin? Why do we call a sin a sin? Anybody? Respected ma'am. We are very fortunate that we are also having an alema here. Why do we call a sin a sin? Ya Khudaya. I'm dealing with educational leaders here. Managers are sitting here. Teachers are sitting here. And I am enjoying it. Respected ma'am, why do we call sin a sin? I can give you 2 minutes for discussion. Ji, we had a discussion on sin, that whatever is harmful for others, whatever is bringing harm, and what is piety, or what is goodness, clear? What is virtue, clear? What is vice? Whatever is harmful, that is vice. Whatever is useful, whatever is positive, that is virtue, that is piety, that is goodness. So when we are actually going for certain questions, clear, in what? Value education, that there, and in language development, what? Topic writing. We always go for what? Positive things, Sometimes we should also go for what? Negative things. That write 5 negative things you find around you. For example, when somebody tells a lie, when somebody bullies you, when somebody goes for what? Backbiting, when somebody complains against you, complaining attitude. For example, at child's level. So this was all what? Development of culture and development of thinking through language. So these are the responsibilities of a language teacher, make it very clear. Then moving ahead in language development, 3 phases. 3 phases. Usually we go for what? As we discuss in detail about those 3 years, aging from 3 to 6. Phase 1 ji. 3 years ji, dealing with what? 3 years. Here we deal with two things there ji. One grapheme and the other one is phoneme. What is grapheme? The shape of that letter A. The way you make it now, the way you form A, that is what chi? Grapheme, graphical representation of that sound. The sound is A. One sound. One sound of A is what? A. So that sound is what chi? Phoneme. And the shape of that sound while writing it chi. Obviously you have to write it, you have to convert it into symbol. When I'm saying A is basically a symbol. A is a symbol of certain sound in English language. Alif is a symbol of certain sound in Urdu and Arabic and even Persian languages. So that symbol is called what chi? Grapheme, and sound is called what? Phoneme. And make one thing very clear chi, that sometimes we focus too much on sounds, we ignore what chi? Symbol or grapheme. And sometimes we focus too much on grapheme and we ignore what chi? Sound. Both are important chi. Both are important. And this happens when ji? In first phase. What is that ji? 3 years. Junior monthly. How will we do it chi? In upcoming slides we'll go for all those activities. Make it clear that activities, when I'm saying activities, always place a question mark there ji, that what activity would you link with this one ji? Whatever you are mentioning up till now na, clear? Link activity with that. Otherwise it will just remain a theory. How to bring it into practical form, that links activity with that. Secondly ji, vocabulary of what? Noun. As much as you can ji. This is oral development. This is what? Oral development. I'm not talking about the spelling of that vocabulary. The child must gain maximum possible vocabulary of objects, things. Now ji, what activities? We'll discuss in detail ji. So wait for those activities. At the moment I'm just talking about overall layout of those phases ji. Then second phase ji, that is 4 years ji. Usually average you go for what ji? 7 months in a session. Average 7 to 8 months. So we usually divide it into 2 terms ji, depending upon your zone. Whether it is summer zone or whether it is winter zone. As we learned there in very much detail ji, how to develop a calendar in that session of what? Basics of school management. Those who are watching on YouTube ji can consult that video ji. Basics of school management ji. There we learn ji how to plan it ji. How to divide a session into 2 phases or 2 terms or 3. I don't support that ji. Usually 2 terms are there depending upon the zone, whether your school is there in summer zone, winter zone, or what is the schedule of your vacation, depending upon your vacation schedule. Simply, if you are dividing that one academic session into 2 halves, so in first half ji, you will go for what ji? Grapheme and phoneme of both now. At first, previously you went for what ji? Small letters. Now what ji? Capital, both small and capital G. Talking about English. Talking about Urdu ji, you can go for what ji? Full shapes and half shapes ji. Add it there ji. Full shapes and half shapes ji. In English, capital and small, and in Urdu, full shapes and half shapes. Puri ashkal or adi ashkal. For example, letter B is there. You know that full shape, then half shape. When you join that B with some other Urdu letter, how to join it? And once again, the vocabulary of noun in the first half of 4th year. First, when the child is there of 4 year. Not 4th year, here means 2nd year. And in second half of senior Montessori, second half of senior Montessori or second half of second year of preschooling, we'll go for what? Words formation. Words formation. Now the child is well aware about what? Letters and their sounds. Now how will we form the words? Through joining sounds. Through joining sounds. Make it clear. When I am saying through sounds, obviously through joining letters. Why am I focusing too much upon sounds? Because variants are there of different sounds in form of letters. For example, when I am saying sound E, clear, you can see it on screen. That E can be there through letter just E, through letter I, through letters double E, through letters IE, through letter Y. That's why I said what? Through what? Sounds. Because we can't make the things complex in the beginning. Specifically in English. Because one letter is there with multiple sounds. 5 vowel letters are there with 20 different sounds. Letters are 5, sounds are 20. Sometimes some consonant letters are giving vowel sounds, and sometimes some vowel sound is giving what? Consonant sound. For example, in one, O-N-E, one, O is giving what? Consonant sound. What? V. Got my point? And when in what? Chemistry. What is ending sound? E. But given by what? Consonant Y. Am I clear? So here we'll use what? Word frames. Word frames. As you can see it there on that board. You can also see it there on screen. Look at this. What is this frame here? I'll create a blank here. Clear? And what is the sound there? At. With at, the child will keep adding different letters. Clear? When he is there with abundance of vocabulary, that's why I was saying that in first year, what is that? Junior Montessori, and in first half of second year, you will try to go for maximum possible word bank of what? Nouns. that will be utilized here. For example, that in that blank I have placed what k sound. What is it? Cat. Next one is what? Bat. Next one is what? Mat. Clear? Sat. Hat. Rat. Got it? So what was the frame here? At. Which frame I used? At. Am I clear? Next frame, for example, I can use an, man, can, pan, fan. Got it? You will give them what? Word frames where you will give them blanks with what? Possible placement of different sounds. And when he is focusing on sounds, obviously he'll use what? Letters. For example, in this case, you are getting k sound with what? C. But sometime, clear, that k sound is there with k. K. Clear? So don't make it phonetics. Just keep it phonics. There's a difference between phonetics and phonics. In phonics, remember that initially we just give them the general sound of that letter. We don't go for all the letters, all the sounds. For example, the general sound of letter A is what? A. We don't give all the sounds of letter A. We just give what? One sound. But with the passage of time, when the child is actually getting maximum oral language, vocabulary, clear, he automatically developed that A is there with variety of different sounds in man and ball. With man, A is there with different sound, and in ball, A is there with different sound. You need not to tell that detail. The child will automatically acquire it. Otherwise, the child will get confused. I may repeat that in phonics, when I'm saying phonics, I means phone. Which phone? General phone. General sound, not all the variety. Because one letter can be there with multiple sounds specifically. And if I am giving all the sounds at a time, the child will get confused. But with the passage of time, when the child is getting more vocabulary, he will automatically learn that the A sound of A is there in specific cases, and in certain other cases, A is there with some other sounds as well. Am I clear, ji? And the best source of this sound development, your phonic development, is what? Maximum listening. What? Listening. The more the child gets material of listening, the better he develops the phonic sense. It can't be done all the time by reading. It can't be done all the time by the writing. Am I clear? Listening is considered to be the best source. When he is listening to the variety of words, when he is having variety of word bank, so obviously consequently he is getting the variety of different sounds. Am I clear, ji? So you are expected to keep the things simple. Don't make the things complex, ji. Simple, because he is in a learning phase, ji. This was regarding what, ji? English. Now talk about Urdu, ji. Don't you think that sometime in Urdu it is also there a problem? Sometime, though it is less. What about Alif? Sometime it is there with the sound of what? Sometimes it is there with the sound of what? Am I clear, ji? Sometimes it is there with the sound of Hamza, na, Alif. And sometimes Alif is the sound of what? Alif. Alif is a longer sound. And Hamza is what? A shorter sound of one letter, what? Alif. Am I clear? So we just give one sound. Another example, ji, wow. Sometimes it is there with the sound of what? Ji, o. And sometimes it is there with the sound of what? Oo. When you are using what? Pesh with that. And when you are using what? Chi? Zabar with that is with a different sound. Clear? So we need not to give these details to the children. Ji. We just need to give them what? Maximum listening. Maximum listening. Then ji, am I clear, ji, in phase 2? I may repeat that in phase 2, ji, we develop what, ji? Word formation. We develop what? Word formation, ji. Word formation through what, ji? Phonics. Through what? Phonics. Clear? For example, if a cat is there, how will I go for it, ji? K, at. K, at. Clear? Or directly, K, at. B, at. Then phase 3G, very important G, advanced Montessori, the last year of preschool, because you are preparing the child for upcoming challenges of school. And this transition phase is very important G, because you have to move that child from preschool to school, where mostly problems occur there, G. Mostly it is observed that the teachers of grade 1 or level 1 always face problems, because these things are not clear there in previously in advanced Montessori or whatever you call it, prep. Here ji, we deal with what ji? Sentence formation. I may repeat that in first phase ji, 3 years junior Montessori, we dealt with what ji? Grapheme and phoneme. In second phase ji, we dealt with what ji? Word formation. Word formation through what ji? Phonics and word frames. And word frames or phonic frames. Clear? And thirdly ji, we are going for what ji? And one thing more ji, in phase 2, that there sometime we use what ji? Diagraphs or trigraphs ji. What are diagraphs ji? Ch, J, Sh. So, some people think that these are some different things. No, not at all. These are also phonics. Phonics means sound. When you are giving the sound using one letter, that is what? Monograph. That is what? Monograph. And when you are using that sound with 2 letters, for example, look at this. And previously we talked about what she at. Clear? Though it is not exactly the diagraph. The exact diagraph is what she, when you combine 2 sounds. She. For example, sh. In sh you combine what she? Sir and clear? That makes what she? What is the sound of H? As you have in what she? Ha. Ha. Got it? So that makes what she? Sh. What is the sound of C usually? K. When you combine K with H, that makes what she? Ch. Then J sound G. Through what she? DG. Got my point? As you have what she? Bhari alfaz in Urdu. Bhari alfaz. What are those bhari alfaz ji? Bhari letters. P, B, Th. Clear? How do you get bh? when you add b with her. So here you combine G one letter with another one and you get what? Digraph. And when you are combining 3 letters G, that is also called what G? Trigraph. But these are also phonics. Some people deal with them separately. No, these are not separate. So you can make a list like this G, that monographic, digraphic and trigraphic G. Phones. Monographic, digraphic, trigraphic, phones. Though diphthongs are also there G, but diphthongs are not called digraphic. Those are simply called what G? Combination of 2 vowel sounds. For example, ear, oor. I may repeat that. Diphthongs. What are diphthongs? The combination of 2 vowel sounds. For example, EA in here. HEAR. That is what? Here. Oor. For example, poor. That is combination of double O. That double O is not giving what? O sound. That is giving what? Oor. Ear. Ear. Combination of E and A. Those are diphthongs. Those are not digraphs. Make it clear. Because why? Because those are considered one sound. Those are considered one sound. In digraphs, we deal with 2 separate sounds to combine and make one more sound, one different sound. As I said, what Chi? Sh, s, s. Combination of s and combination of s and h. That makes what Chi? Sh sound. Combination of c and h. That gives you what? Ch. These are called digraphs. But these are phonics. And phonic reading is what Chi? Very helpful Chi. That children may not be trained to read using letters. Rather, they must be trained to read through what Chi? Phonics. For example, a, p, p, l, apple. A, p, p, l. Got it, Chi? Apple. Instead of what Chi? A, double P, L, E. Because when the child is learning through sounds, clear, though he will commit mistakes sometime, but he'll learn sooner, quicker. In short time, he can learn to read. And one thing very important, Ji, clear, the better the reading is, the better the writing would be. If your reading exercises are well planned, in writing exercises you will remain comfortable. The child will give you comfort. He will use that knowledge of phones and he will try to write. Though he will commit mistakes in spellings. I'm telling you, though he will commit mistakes in spellings. Clear, but not a big deal. At least he will take a start with what? Writing. With the passage of time, clear, when he is getting variety of reading, he will automatically get that the difference between the sounds of double E, IE, E or Y. He himself will come to know that E sound is sometime through just E, sometime through I, sometime through double E, sometime through IE, sometime through Y. Am I clear up till here, ji? That was what she phase 2. Now come to what she phase 3, ji. Sentence formation, ji. In first phase, child learned what she? Letters. In second phase, the child learned to join letters through phones, phonics, through sounds, and he learned to make what she? Words. At the moment, I am just talking about phases. Then we will move towards activities. Don't forget that. With everything, we will link what? Activities. In phase 3, we will go for what? Sentence formation. Here, basically, it is dealing with two things. One is that sentence formation, and second one is what? Comprehension skill. As I told you that reading is directly connected with what? Writing. And I am repeating that the better the reading is, the better the writing would be. And reading, it's not just reading from some book, from some page. Listening is also a mode of reading, a mode of reception. Picture description is also a mode of reading. Words are not written there. Words are not written there. Here reading, I don't mean literally reading. Here reading, I mean what? Reception. When the teacher or the directress is speaking, the child is receiving sounds. So somewhat we can say that he is reading sounds. When the teacher is describing certain picture, the child is reading that picture, or receiving the sounds of that picture. Got my point? So once again I am saying that reading, I am not saying literal reading, that reading of some book, reading of some sentence. So when the child, for example, 3 years, clear? The child is doing what? ABC there. How can you say that the child is doing reading there? The child is receiving sounds. The child is receiving the sounds of vocabulary. The child is receiving the sounds of different sentences. Clear? For example, come here, go there, wait for your turn. He is acquiring it now. Acquiring through what? Reading. Reading in a sense of what? Receiving. So he is receiving all these sounds, words and sentences from teacher. But here in third phase, I am literally meaning what? Reading. Got it, And secondly, what? With comprehension skill. In that third phase, previously we had been dealing with what? Vocabulary of what? Noun. Vocabulary of noun. From the second half of senior Montessori, you may take a start with vocabulary of verbs. Vocabulary of verbs. Here in third phase, the child adds what? Noun with verb, or combines noun with verb and makes what? Sentence. He makes what? Sentence. So what is that? Noun plus verb, that previously vocabulary of what? In 3 years, junior Montessori, vocabulary of noun. 4th year senior Montessori, first half vocabulary of noun. Then in senior Montessori, second half vocabulary of verb. What is that vocabulary of noun? The vocabulary of objects. We'll go for exercises. Vocabulary of surrounding objects. Clear? Door, window, jug, glass, pen, marker, notebook, shoes, shirt. This is what? Vocabulary of objects. Clear? Then vocabulary of actions. What? Eating, drinking, walking, jumping, hoping. Got my point? Where when the child joins nouns with what? Verbs. That is called what? Sentence formation. The same is the case there in Urdu ji. Then ji vocabulary of what? Noun, ism, clear? Then ji asma. Then vocabulary of what ji? Verbs. Vocabulary of what? Afal. Allama al-Adam al-asma. Got my point ji? When you join asma with what ji? Afal. Nouns with what? Verb. That is called what? A sentence. For example, when at first stage the child is learning what she? Father, mother, grandpa, granny. Got it she? Secondly, he is learning what she? Washing, driving, walking. Then he'll join what she? Father, walking, granny, washing. Am I clear? Later on, he will actually go for the perfect form of a sentence development. Got my point? That's why I said in the very beginning, ji, regarding first language acquisition, that in first language the child goes for what chi? The same. At first vocabulary of noun, then vocabulary of actions. Then he joins, that is called what chi? A sentence. Got it chi? How will we do it chi? Here we as we used previously word frames chi. Now here we'll use what chi? Sentence frames. Sentence frames. From sentence structures chi. Those who are watching it on YouTube chi, can consult chi, that video regarding what chi, that learn English with just 9 structures, or all the videos there regarding language development chi. So all the structures are given there chi. You can use those structures here chi. For example, can, cannot. Do you have? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Have not. Clear ji? The sentence frame of what ji? Is, am, are. He is a nice boy. I am a boy. Not in literal sense, I'm not a boy. And I even don't want to be. I am a man. Why are you laughing? Are you jealous? Okay, you are a girl. You are a girl. Because ladies are more conscious about their age, no? Am I clear, ji? You can see certain frames here, ji. Look at this, ji. Can you write? It's a frame. It's a sentence frame. Clear? Yes, I can. If the answer is positive. And if the answer is negative, no, I can't. Got my point, ji? Can you fly? No, I can't. Am I clear? You will go for certain type of questions, ji. This is called sentence making, ji, to which I referred to in the beginning, ji. That a word bank is given, make your sentences. No. Now you will give word bank, make it clear, mention it somewhere, ji. Word bank with sentence frames, both in Urdu and English. Then children will go for what, ji? Sentence making. Usually what happens, ji? The word bank is given, the children are asked to what, ji? Write what? Sentences. That is not the right way. What is the proper way? Word bank along with what? Sentence frames. Sometimes sentence frame of present, sometimes sentence frame of past. For example, you can also go for topic writing using this sentence frame, ji. Topic writing, but for topic writing, sorry, ji, you will go for two types of data, ji. One word bank and second one what? Sentence frame. For example, ji, how was your eat? How was your eat? You will give certain word bank along with what? Sentence frame. Using that word bank and sentence frame, the child will himself write that topic. About myself ji. Word bank along with sentence frame. I am, for example ji, I am Shams. I am from Aptabad. I am, clear, a teacher. Clear ji? One frame. I have ji. I have 4 siblings ji. I have this ji. I have that ji. Got it? Keeping in mind the level of that child ji. And what is the level? Advanced response. It must not be too complex. Keep the thing simple. Let the child do something. Encouraging. Always ji. Am I clear? That is a rule here at Alpha Centauri. A policy. The topic writing will always be there. Word bank with what? Sentence frame. If certain topic is given and word bank is not there, sentence frame is not there, well, that is wrong homework. Or that is wrong activity. That is wrong task. That is not the proper way. And here in sentence from phonic you can move towards syllabic reading. Previously we talked about what? Individual phones. Sardan, pay attention please. From phones now syllabic reading. What is a syllable? Combination of consonant and vowel sounds. Combination of consonant and vowel sound in form of natural chunk of a word. A word is divided into chunks, small parts, and these are natural division of a word in form of consonant and vowel sounds. For example, when I am saying beautiful, how many chunks or how many syllables are? In syllable in Urdu hijje. In Urdu you will go for what? Hijje. In Urdu you call it what? Jod tod. Sometimes you give a complete word and you ask the child to break that word into its syllables. It is two-way approach. Number one, from word to syllable. For example, beautiful word is given. The child is supposed to break that word into syllables. How many syllables are there? Beautiful. 3 syllables are there. And vice versa. Sometimes you will give the child syllables. And by joining those syllables, the child will make a word. Both exercises are there. This is called what? Syllabic reading. You can see that board there. Clear? As that board is there for phonic reading. Clear? Similarly, you can use it for what? Syllabic. And when I am saying reading, automatically it means what? Writing. The way the child reads, clear? Exactly the way he writes. If reading is proper, writing will automatically be proper. As we say, when listening is good, writing is good. When we say when reading is good, writing is good. Got my point? And here ji, a reading will be there further in two forms ji. One is through picture description ji, and the other one is what ji? Text reading. For example, through picture description, this is also a sort of reading. Clear? That when the child reads pictures, how ji? Through questions. Through questions. This is also called picture description. In the beginning phase, you being a directress will raise questions you. What is there, or what can you see in picture 1, or who is there in picture 1? Clear? At first, see all the objects, or all the entities, or all the characters. This is what she gathering data of what? Nouns. And second question ji, what is he or she doing, or what is certain character doing? These are the questions regarding what she? Action words. What is first question ji? Who is there in the picture? Second question, what is he doing? And third G, as I told you, for comprehension development, critical thinking, what do you think? Why is he doing that? So, why? Third question is what? Why? What was the first question? What? What regarding nouns? Second question is once again G. What regarding verbs? Or sorry, first question could be there who. Who is there? What is he doing? Why is he doing so? The child will find out and try to speak the answer to these three questions, or write the answer of these three questions. And first step G, speaking, and second step G, writing. And once again here you will give language frames G. For example, what would be the frame for question 1G? What was question 1G? Who is there in the picture? What will be the question? What will be the language frame G? There is, or there are. There is, or there are. There is a line, or there are lines. You can see in picture G. Or when I am combining both G, there is a line placed separately. There is a mice separately. And when I am combining both G, there are a lion and a mice. There are a lion and a mice. Now the child is learning both G. Separate structure, separate usage of is, then combination of both in form of are. Then ji, what is he doing ji? So the frame is there in question. He is, for example, sitting. He is jumping. He is walking. The practice of progressive tense ji. Progressive structure ji. He is standing. He is sitting. Am I clear? This was what she picture description. Second one is what she? Reading of a text. How will you go for it, she? Once again, you will pick up the action word. You will pick up the action word. For example, ji, what is action word here, ji? Is. What is action word here? Is. Now what is the action word here, ji? Are, when I am joining both, ji. There are, clear? Now, ji, I'll raise WH questions on it, ji. I'll raise WH questions. What are WH questions, ji? Who, what, when, why, where, how. And I'll make the children find out the answer to these questions from text. From text. Imagine now picture is not there. Picture is not there. I'm just dealing with this text. I'm dealing with this text. Repeatedly I'm saying that the way the child is reading, exactly the way he would write it. Clear? Are, ji. Who are there, ji? The child will find, ji. Who are there? There are a lion and a mouse. There are a lion and a mouse. Am I clear, ji? For example, ji, next action word is what, ji? Catching. What is action word? Catching, ji. Who is catching, ji? The lion is catching. The lion is catching what, ji? The mouse. The lion is catching the mouse. Sorry, previously I was calling mice. I thought that there are many. There is only one. A mouse, ji. Am I clear, ji? Got my point? So, when you are raising question on the text, ji, it leads to what, ji? Comprehension skill. It leads to what? Comprehension skill. Why? Do mention why, ji, and how? Because the child will get used to raise the question on everything. His brain will be trained. His brain will be trained to raise questions all the time. Look at this number 1, ji. What is question number 1, ji? What is the structure? Are. Next, see question number 2. What is the structure here? Is catching. Is. So indirectly he is actually learning a language structure. Is catching. Next time, ji, is drinking. Next time, ji, is writing. Number 1, he is getting a language structure. Number 2, ji, he'll get used to raise questions on that, ji. What questions? who, what, where, when. And these questions lead to what? Comprehension skill, understanding ability, how to understand things, how to extract information out of something. Now you are here extracting two things. Number one, structure, language frame, language structure, and number two, what? Information. And while doing it, you will always adopt all the three tenses. To mention somewhere, it is compulsory. All the three, present, past, and future. Make the child practice all the three. For example, here we are dealing with what? A current situation. Then what is it? There is a line. If the line had been there previously, what would it be? There was a line. If the child is supposed to be there in future, there will be a line. So make him practice all the three structures within that single situation. Within that single situation. Am I clear, ma'am Aisha? All the three, present, past, and future. Am I clear, ma'am Munaza? Ma'am Hifsa? Ma'am Misbah? All the three. Clear? In the given data you are having just one, but you will transform into all the three forms. If it is in current situation, we are using what? For example, is catching. In past situation, it would be what? Was catching. In future situation, it will be what? Will be catching. Will be catching. Please do mention all these things with you. Later on, you will forget about these. So in this way, you are doing two things. Number one, language development. You develop three structures: present, past, and future. Is, was, and will be. Number two, you are working upon the comprehension skill. This is called reading with understanding. This is called reading with understanding. And first phase, we just talked about reading. Look at this. Now I'm going for that first phase of reading. What was that? The, r, the, r, r, l, I, d. Got it? This was what? Phonic. This was what? Phonic. Now come to what? Syllabic. They, because this is what? A diphthong. And there we are using what? Air. Air. This is called diphthong, combination of two vowels. Am I clear? Though two vowels are not there, but the sound is what? AI. Air. As you say in what? Air. Air. Pair. Stare. There. Next one is what? R. A. Line. Once again, diphthong is there. Iron. Iron. Lion. Then and all these are monosyllabic words. All these are what? Monosyllabic, where one syllable is there. Look at this now. Mouse. Once again, monosyllabic. Can I find some? For example, this is reading. Re-ding. Re-ding. This is called what? Syllabic reading. Re-ding. Clear? Look at this now. Picture. Picture. Got it? This is called what? Syllabic reading. Unless the child excels phonic reading, Don't move towards what ji? Syllabic reading. Clear? Phonic reading is more recommended. You should avoid syllabic reading because mostly phonic reading is not exult. Phonic reading is better. Even in advanced Montessori, you should go for what ji? Phonic reading. Through phones, you will move towards what ji? Writing. So it is suggested that you should not go for syllabic reading. You should go for what ji? Reading. So this was what ji? Reading for the sake of reading. Then we talked about what ji? Reading with understanding. Reading with understanding. Where you will raise questions on what? Action words. Questions on what? Action words. What are the action words? Verbs. What are the action words? Verbs. Ji. Here we'll take a short break. Ji.